It's a great day. Yes, it is. I'm in a good mood. Why? Because our pre-production meeting went so well. I don't know how many judge meetings have gone as well. Pre-production meeting went. But they meeting with people, they talking with people, they figuring out coaches. And while they're figuring out coaches, we are figuring out players. We talked wide receivers last week. Now it is time to talk about one of my favorite positions. Don't push me because I'm close to the edge. All right, come on now. On this day, we see clearly. Whatever song you want to sing, sing it. Sing your heart out. It is time because we are live. Boy Green meets Wudi.
Can you guys help us get a jet chant here? Yeah, going. Oh. Okay, right, yeah. Come on in. Yeah. Okay, let's go! A-E-T-S, jet! Let's go! A-E-T-S, jet! Let's go! There you go, Woody!
Third Party Thursday.
Chris joining us here on the program with a capital P here on the program.
Jake Asman, come on down. How you doing, good sir?
Wow, what an intro. I mean, the boy Green is known for having the intro, but Wudi, that was unreal, man. Thanks for the kind words, son.
We are men of many names.
My favorite Austrian Jets fan right there, baby. Boy Green meets Wudi.
Welcome to another episode of Boy Green Meets Wudi. You are 100% right, Mr. McMoney. You is Wudi, rocking everywhere. Yes, sir. And over here, we got the boy who became king. He repping the Fighting Irish right now. Come on now. He also repping the Jets up top, Irish down low. Holla at your boy. He is none other than Mr. Paul Esden Jr. How you doing, my good sir?
I got to tell you, Wudi, we just had the Royal Rumble over the weekend, and it's last night. It's 1:20 in the morning. I'm in the middle of a bunch of Jets work, and I'm like, oh, what should I listen to while I'm doing Jets work? I need something like the house is quiet, everyone's asleep like normal people are at 1:20 in the morning, and I'm like, oh, wow. The best wrestling entrance song playlist of all time. That's a great thing to sort of jam to while I'm doing some Jets work. And then I come across the "You Think You Know Me." And then I'm like, well, I got to now see the Edge Rumble. I got to go look that up real quick when he came back from the Rumble. I'm like, I can't not. And I'm not going to lie. The Rumble. So I went to see that and I watched it. It's whatever, 2 minutes or something. And then I'm like, YouTube says, hey, Paul, do you want to watch the 25 greatest Rumble entrances of all time? The pops, the surprise. I'm like, all right, you bastard. It's already 1:20 in the morning. So I watch that. And in my head, as they're going through this countdown, I don't remember every single one that's ever happened, but I'm like, well, Edge has to be number one, right? Like the 10 years, all of it. And he showed up at number 3, and I'm like, who the hell is in front of Edge? And we're going through, and they had like Cody Rhodes above him.
John Cena?
John Cena, that one had to be number 1. So, or if you would have done Edge number 1 and John Cena number 2 in like 2006, 7, 8, whatever it was for John Cena when he came back so quick from his injury, Triple H is in the ring going like, what is this guy doing here? And then you have JR and everything, and it's crazy. But I'll tell you that those get me emotional as bleep. I'm watching the Edge thing, and I can feel myself welling up and just like sort of overwhelmed, like the crowd pops. They're like, whoa! And then Edge, you can see him like, holy bleep, I'm freaking back, baby! And just all the energy is overwhelming. So like when I'm watching those things, I well up, I tear up, and just almost give myself a little whoo, like I'm feeling the goosebumps. And that's what I'm feeling for this show, Woodster, because this is it, the Edge, baby. And this is a huge position. So, and these shows you mentioned it for the pre-production meetings that this show has the perfect combination of information. We're going to let you know at every key position as we go through all the weeks, with slight breaks for breaking news shows if those pop up in the ethos. and to break down, hey guys, here are all the Jet free agents at this position that could be walking out the door. Here's who they're left with. Here are the draft options. Here are the trade options. Here's the signing free agency options. I think these are just informative shows. So I'm super pumped up and ready for this. And here's just a random plug because I just want to get it in and then we'll get to other stuff. If you are a Boy Green Coffee Club member or Boy Green Espresso Club member, there is a bonus interview that only you have access to out in the audience, baby. It won't go to the general public until tomorrow morning. That is the one and only Lindsay Rhodes. Lindsay Rhodes. I don't know if she would get that if I said that, but nonetheless, formerly of the NFL Network, she's doing a huge draft special that's dropping in 9 days on Sumer Sports' YouTube channel, where she's going to talk to several former Jets GMs during the episode series. Mike McCagnon, John Idzik, and there's other NFL general managers who are giving draft nuggets, insights, scouting notebooks, all that jazz. So we talk Jets, so we talk a little bit of everything. So that interview is available right now to you freaks and animals out there in the audience, but to the rest of the general public, it'll drop tomorrow morning. So again, shout out to Lindsay Rhodes, live from the Super Bowl. Thank you for joining me, Lindsay Rhodes.
Yeah, I don't know if we're trying to hear what John Idzik has to say, but I guess we'll give it a whirl.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
But yes, this position, it's hard to say, oh, what were you going to talk about? What order? I think we started with a real interesting one with Garrett and the guys. If you want to call them that, and talked about some people we can add. You look at this group, and is it? I guess you could say Jermaine and Will and the guys. Could be a Batman and Robin type situation. I am sure, like every single episode, Boy Green and I will disagree. But actually, I don't know, because when we start talking about these and like roster construction, we actually started agreeing a little bit, and you saw that during the wide receivers. So. I guess we'll see. Let's look at the room, the guys that we got in the locker room, and go from there.
Well, first, and I had to double check this because it just seems so like I must be missing something. I'll tell you guys the free agents that are scheduled to leave now first, and then we'll see what the room currently exists considering those players that could walk out the door. There is only one defensive end that is set to leave. One edge rusher, depending on your perspective for schematics. Folks, Uncle Indy, cover your eyes. That is Michael Clemens. That's it. Everybody else is either under contract long-term or under contract for the upcoming season. So Michael Clemens, surprising, and I double-checked every contract on the Jets roster to make sure I didn't miss something. He is the only departing defensive end on the roster. Now, they could choose to cut people if they want and do extracurricular things that I can't prognosticate. But in terms of defensive ends that are scheduled to be free agents, the one and only Michael Clemens is scheduled to be a free agent this offseason. So as I asked you in the wide receiver room, it's a little bit more blunt now with only one guy on your screen. Are you interested in a Michael Clemens reunion?
This is, I guess it's going to sound crazy, but I would re-sign Michael Clemens for not a lot of money, but depth is depth, and I actually think this regime they liked him. They actually used him way more than we were expecting. His job was never in jeopardy. People, I remember in August, we're trying to bring out the scissors. And they were nowhere to be found. He wasn't even close to being scissors worthy. So I'm going to have to say, based on this regime, how they used him, how they value him, and, a couple of other moves, let's re-sign this dude and, get some depth in the room.
Wow. Okay. You are, which Uncle Indy is, of course, going to be a massive fan of. So there you go. That is beautiful wherever he may be. Throw our love over there. That is awesome. Hey, we have to give a quick shout out. I look to the audience, and we have a brand new member to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Baby! That's what I'm talking about, baby. And Julio Kelly. welcome to the Boy Green Coffee Club. You have a raffle ticket for our contest, and of course, I love it when the screen is green, baby. And that's because Julio Kelly is there with us. So, Julio, now that you're a Boy Green Coffee Club member, boom, shakalaka. You now have access to that interview we talked about earlier with Lindsey Rhodes of the NFL, formerly of the NFL Network, now at Sumer Sports. So, Julio, enjoy that interview. Hopefully, you watch the rest of the show before you jump on over there. But whatever the case, we appreciate you, Julio. This has nothing to do with it, but I was just, again, I was playing the random music playlist at like 1 a.m. when I'm doing work. And then I'm like, ooh, Night at the Roxbury. And in that story, Will Ferrell in the movie goes, Emilio, as he keeps retelling the story, and Chris Kattan. And so it's not the same, but Julio. So that's what I'll think about every time I see you now, Julio. So welcome to the Boy Green Coffee Club, baby. Appreciate you. Nice. Thank you.
Yes.
And way to punch in your own ticket, by the way, too. Like, you didn't wait for a membership to be gifted. Julio's like, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm punching my own ticket in. So I respect that. Ba-boom. Ooh, let's say this. So, like, obviously I just asked you and you said, yeah, we can keep it. We can make it happen. But I will tell you this, if Jet fans, who I see some interesting reactions to this Michael Clemens stuff, whether the fans or me or anyone that comments on this says, I'm not so sure about that Michael Clemens guy, I believe this super chat coming in from Dan the Jets fan 21 rings all the way true. It's damn true.
Wow.
Well, I didn't read the second part of this, but nonetheless, Dan the Jets fan says, I just saw the first part. Michael Clemens to Tennessee with Salah, big sack against us next year. Yeah, there's so many revenge game angles where the Jets travel to Arizona. They're going to play Mike LaFleur. They travel to Tennessee to play the Titans. So if you thought last year they're in Rodgers and this game and this game and this game, oh, wow, look at all these revenge games. There's so many coming up in 2026. We'll spend a scheduled show talking about that down the line. But I'll tell you this, Robert Saleh is going to be, Jeff Ulbrich too, potentially with him in Atlanta. They are going to be hovering at the gate of free agency land, waiting for some of these guys to come available, whether that's Michael Clemens, whether that's potential trades of Jamin Sherwood, maybe some of our pass rushers. Like, they're going to be in the area. So I don't know about the big sack against us, although that's normally how it works out, Dan the Jets fan 21. But I would not be surprised if the Jets pass on Clemens, that he immediately finds a home, because Saleh loved the bleep out of Michael Clemens. And so did Jeff Ulbrich publicly for everything we heard from him.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, he was they were souring on him. Like, he didn't get the playing time that he got under AG. I feel like AG was giving him a lot of snaps, and especially Ulbrich. When Saleh was gone and Ulbrich was running the show and letting his son have his contacts. Clemens, he was just falling down the depth chart, man. Like, that's why we thought he was getting cut, was because of the way he was getting used by Ulbrich. So I definitely don't think they out here, rubbing their hands the way that they might over Jamin Sherwood, who Saleh, literally, he turned into from a safety to a linebacker. That's been his guy from day one. I don't think Clemens fits that mold whatsoever.
Fair enough. But Dan, appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much for sending that in. You're $1 away from raffle ticket. Before I answer this Michael Clemens question myself, as I am Stalin, I see this in the comments section. We go to our buddy Chris, who says, like, support, subscribe to the channel, Go Jets, on my channel and your channel. He hit that discount double check. He double dipped the chip, which normally I'm against, but I respect it in this case. So thank you, Chris, for all the love out there in the audience. I'll say this. I've mentioned this before. It's cool to say that I have somewhat of a personal relationship with Michael. After he was drafted, we followed each other on social media. We DM'd each other. He seemed like a really nice guy. I got to meet him at the Hall of Fame game a couple years ago when I covered that game in the locker room, and that was cool. And he remembered me, and I was like, oh, wow, that's super cool that this guy, like, I'm just some random person. The fact that we would have that kind of relationship is super cool. Obviously, there's been a checkered history here with Michael and the Jets with penalties and some stupid crap. But there were moments this year, Michael Clemens, not so bad. So, but to me, I think, quite frankly, the room is going to get reset. I think Michael, I don't think this thing I'm about to say is just factual. Michael Clemens just was a leftover here from the previous regime, and Aaron Glenn took him over, and he just happened to be there. And the Jets didn't really make any aggressive moves to address defensive end. And Michael Clemens was one of the better ones they had, whether fans loved that or not. That was the case. So I think they reset it completely. I think AG's bringing in, folks, if you complained last year, oh, wow, AG didn't bring in any Lions. Well, I'd be lying if I told you that he wasn't going to flip the script this year. I think there is going to be a Detroit massive migration from Detroit to New York. I think that's going to be happening. I think plenty of Lions are coming over. But I'm sorry, Michael, but again, I think you're getting an NFL job. I don't think you're like, now I'm going to become a farmer. I think you're going to get a gig, but with the Jets, I don't know if that's going to happen, Michael, Mr. Clemens, but good luck to you in free agency. Good sir. I see we have other super chats, because we're going to get into defensive end. So let me get to this now. We have Dan, the Jets fan 21.
Wow.
Dan, we've added this to your raffle ticket total prize. So thank you very much. You now have 2 raffle tickets to our contest this month. I know it's early, but can you see Brees pulling a Le'Veon Bell sitting out next year if we franchise tag him if he really doesn't want to play here? Wudi, do you want to attack this one first?
I would be utterly surprised. I mean, it didn't work for Le'Veon, so I don't see a lot of benefit of this. Of pulling a Le'Veon. I understand him not wanting to play here. That makes complete sense. But I don't think, and I know players, they always, trying to get control of their own situation in the NFL, which is super hard. Which is why a lot of, it doesn't really work out, hold-ins and all that type of stuff. So he can play those games, but to say, oh, he's going to sit out a whole year, and potentially have that, get taxed on the next, I don't think Brees is going to play that game.
You said you were utterly what?
Shocked?
Utterly shocked. Okay, so I just want to make sure I didn't copy your verbiage. I'd be utterly appalled. I'd be utterly flabbergasted if this happened. Because, to be honest, the Le'Veon Bell thing was a disaster. Now, the good thing for Le'Veon is he got the bag of money at the end of the rainbow, right? He got $52 million from the Jets. So that part of it worked, but it's totally sent his career down a different direction. Who knows? The NFL, what could have happened if you change just one thing in history? Does Le'Veon, is he still playing right now in 2026, for Pete's sake? Who knows? So no, I don't think he pulls it. I don't think, based off everything that we've heard, I don't think Brees Hall would be very happy if he gets tagged. I think he would love nothing more than to hit the open market and test his value. We'll see if the Jets are going to be willing to do that. We're going to hear from AG and Mooj in 3 weeks at the NFL Combine. So they're going to speak, and this question, if it isn't, then the media is not doing their jobs. This question should 100% be asked in Indianapolis, and if I was there, I would ask it, what is your plans on Brees Hall and the franchise tag? Do you plan on using it? And then follow-ups and all kinds of questions. If I'm the Jets, I think it is a possibility they use it. But if they do, I think it's more so a placeholder to either negotiate a long-term deal or to potentially tag and trade Brees Hall. I don't think they're going to force him to play it out, but anything, I suppose, is possible. But yeah, if he doesn't want to play here, again, maybe they can parlay that into a tag and trade scenario. But I would be very, again, shell-shocked if Brees Hall just pulled a Le'Veon and said, nah, especially because he's so young. He's 24. To waste a year, if you're older and you're let's say he was 30 or 31, is hey man, this might be my last deal, my last stand to get a big money deal. I'm holding the line. He's 24. Hopefully for Brees, he gets a nice 3 or 4 year deal from the Jets, gets paid, and then hits it one more time, whether from the Jets or another team or free agency in the future. I think that's where it goes from there. But interesting thoughts. So they're on Michael Clemens. So Wudi, obviously, with only one guy exiting stage left, there's a lot of names I'm about to show you on the sheet. But how you feel about them? Well, let's go into them. This is in no particular order. Here are the current Jets edge room. Jermaine Johnson. Oh, yeah, I know that guy. Will McDonald. Tyler Barron, who tore his ACL at the end of the year. So his future in football immediately is in question. Okay, here we go. Now we start getting into some names. Ashwan Mathis, Pascal Ikiji, who, by the way, is part of the NFL's International Pathway Program, and he came over, I believe, was from Nigeria for Pascal Ikiji. We have Braden McGregor, yes, our former undrafted free agent from a couple years ago. Eric Watts, also a former undrafted free agent from a couple years ago. And then my Syracuse brethren, Kingsley Jonathan, who I covered here back many eons ago here in the Salt City. That is your group. And Wudi, I'm just going to say this as bluntly as possible here. I love Jermaine. I don't judge him harshly for last season. He's coming off a torn Achilles. I think expectations should have been shifted. I don't think they were shifted because the Jets did a disservice. That was a mistake to me by Darren Mucci and, quite frankly, his coaching staff to play him 89% of the snaps week one, and I think that affected him and got him re-hurt. I thought Muji's decision of not adding more to the room put unnecessary pressure on Jermaine to be Superman when he should have been Clark Kent to start. And if he turned anything Superman during the year, that was gravy, something you weren't expecting. So I'm very excited for Jermaine heading into 2026. While the sack numbers are nice this year, if you just look at the raw numbers and don't look at the game log of when these sacks happened, and wow, they happened in only a handful of games. He had a nice production statistical season, but I think Will McDonald is more comfortable as a primary pass rusher on third down and a third defensive end. So I think there is while I've seen a lot of people debate this in social media, I think this is a massive need for the Jets. I think it is absolutely in play in the draft, which I'll bring up in a second. I think it's massively in play in free agency. And I think you could almost hit two birds with one stone. If you get a competent defensive end to pair with Jermaine Johnson on the other side, that unlocks another level of Will. So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck if you get the right guy to complement Jermaine, because you're going to get more out of Will as well. So I think you could have a resounding ripple effect on the rest of the defense. Again, with Brian Duker and AG, that question will also be asked in a couple weeks. Schematically, what are we going to look like? But I think it's going to be more so a hybrid. We're probably going to waste a lot of time talking 4-3-3-4, and I think it's going to be a hybrid of both. So we'll probably waste a lot of breath talking about that and spending time. And then, to be honest, the rest of the room is past the biscuits, with all due respect.
Well, we waste a lot of breath anyway, so all good.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm not gonna lie. Jermaine is the only name here that I care about. Everyone else, they can do whatever they want, which would mean then that I agree. This is a huge need for the team, right? For wide receiver, I made the argument. I like AD. I said positive things about Mechie. I was pretty much saying, one or two additions, to that room. This, bro, we need the Princess Diaries level overhaul. You know what I'm talking about?
What a reference. Wow.
Yeah, it was the first makeover movie I could think of. But because that's what this room needs. It needs a makeover. Jermaine locked in, extend this man. And the draft, obviously that is where you're going to find somebody under contract for the next 4 years that will be a dog. Dog. That's Jermaine for the next 4 years under contract. For every other name, and I'm going to throw Will in there. Nice,
Macho Talk Sports. Those last four names were definitely 2K generated players. Hot damn, good lord, where's the respect, man?
Pretty much. But yeah, I'm not trying to pay Will $15 million
on the 5th-year option.
Yeah, and I know that's not this year, but we thinking long term. We got to think, now and for the future. So. Even in your scenario of him, being that third guy, 15 mil, nah. So he
for
can
folks, shame on me, Wudi. I should have explained that to the fans. I don't want to just assume people know things. So I should have said that for Will. I want to apologize. So for people who don't know on Will, so after a player that was a first-round pick completes their first 3 seasons, the team that drafted said player, unless he's traded, I guess that's a unique situation, which could happen this offseason, whoever is in control of the player by the time this 5th-year option decision comes up has the choice: accept the option or decline the option. It's a projected number for Will because the cap isn't official for this upcoming season yet. But Will McDonald is set to count $15 million against the cap on his 5th-year option. Now, that's not for 2026. To note, that's for 2027. So if the Jets decline it and say what Woody says, I ain't paying Will McDonald no $15 million. If that's true and they decline it, that means Will McDonald plays this season and then he's a free agent. If the Jets accept the option, he's under contract for 2026. He's under contract for 2027. Again, he could also be traded. Sam Darnold is unfortunately a very sad and apropos example to use. The Jets traded Sam Darnold before that draft in 2021. So the Panthers, the acquiring team, they got to make the decision on whether to accept or decline the option. They inherited that option to make that choice. So in theory, if the Jets did something similar with Will, that new team would inherit the choice to accept or decline it respectively. So again, I don't want to assume everyone always knows all the rules and numbers and contracts. So Woody, I just want to apologize. I should have said that earlier.
I think we accept your apology. That was a good example. Darnold, my guy, Super Bowl MVP. And yeah, I mean, I am proposing that the same thing is done to Will. I would imagine that is one where, Saleh and Ulbrich, would be a little bit more excited. That was a 1st-round pick. They didn't grab JSN, which still keeps me up at night. So, they can, have their Will McDonald. But who knows? AG talking about, we coached him up. That's one of my favorite things is Aaron Glenn. Yeah, it is, actually, because it's just so representative of the Aaron Glenn era, or Aaron Glenn error, as I like to call it. We coaching him up. Oh, the power of coaching. And then he's like way worse. But anyway, get him off my team. Trade him, make someone else make that option. And, let's build this around Jermaine and Macho. He had facts about the 2K generated names. His very next comment is even more facts. That's, somebody we looking at for sure. Ruben Bain Jr., I would say him and Arvell Reese right now are the 2 most popular names for the Jets' first pick in the 2026 draft. So we definitely looking at that position.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a second here. I just want to do this for because you brought up the Will McDonald conversation that's sort of intriguing to talk about. So if he were to be traded to Tennessee, that one to me is a strong one because Robert Saleh is a head coach, so he has more sway than Jeff Ulbrich. Not that Jeff Ulbrich doesn't have any, but like Jeff's going to knock on, hey, Kevin Stefanski, I could really use a Will McDonald. And Kevin can say, blow me, pal. He doesn't have to listen. But like Robert Saleh's a head coach, I imagine he's got a lot to say. And he says, yeah, Will's perfect in my system. So that one seems more realistic, even though Atlanta could be possible. Here's the picks that Tennessee has in this draft. So 4th overall, that's not happening. 35th overall in the 2nd round, 66th overall in the 3rd round, and 101st in the 4th round. So here's just a note. The 2nd round draft choice, 35th overall, is the 3rd pick in the 2nd round. The 66th choice is the 2nd pick in the 3rd round. And then the 101st overall pick is the 1st pick in the 4th round. If they come singing sweet pleasantries about that 3rd round draft choice that we don't have, I know some people are going to be super disappointed that a 15th overall pick, you go bippity boppity boop. It transformed into a 3rd round pick. That's not exactly the the beautiful carriage that people were hoping it would transform into. Of some of those. Would you be willing to do that? So if I threw that trade at you right now,
would I be willing to do that? Are you serious?
Yeah,
I would be shocked. I would be shocked if they're willing to do that. If they offer a 3rd round pick, you taking that and running.
I could see that.
My God, but I don't know. I was expecting 101.
Like, think about, I know you're not supposed to do this, but okay, so it's a 3rd round pick, which again is valuable. The Jets will have a 3rd round pick that could be a lot of different things, 66th overall. But like, the Jets have had so many busts in the 3rd round, so many Ardarius Stewarts.
They've had busts in every round. You can't even do that.
But I just mean that, like, Will McDonald, while he is a flawed player inherently, he's over the last 2 years, he's had 18 and a half, 19 and a half sacks. Like, I know they've come in spurty games. There's no question. They've come in very limited pockets of time, but still, production's production. Like, can you guarantee a third round pick is going to give me that?
I strongly disagree. They say, or actually, I guess they don't say that, but I'm saying it. Consistency is very important. Like, reliability. Having that production in like 7 games. And then literally like still playing, you're normally, you're completely healthy and not doing, anything and being such a liability in the run game. Like, I'm good on all that. Let's see. Hopefully there's somebody staring at stats like you that can give up a third. that's what I'm hoping. But to get a third for him, I would be shocked. That's why I always was saying, like, throw him in as like a throw-in, like if we were, back when we was talking about, 3 firsts for Burrow, Burrow, Will McDonald, and 3 firsts and Will McDonald for Joe Burrow. Let's get it, like, throw in like that. That's what I was.
Another possibility. You pair, if you were going to do this, pair Will McDonald, the 16th overall pick, and see how far up that could get you up the board. So if you just want a chance at a blue chip player, I don't know how far. You need the right team, the right combination of teams, but maybe that could be something that potentially happens. I want to give a shout out on the Take Flight Talk channel, TFT. We have Craig Mechanics, a member of the Boy Green Coffee Club and Espresso Club for that matter. Craig Mechanics saying, just checking in, fellas. Hope you're all doing great. Working still. Running a business is awesome. So, Craig, Thank you for multitasking, brother. Appreciate that. Which is a good reminder, by the way, when we've got 300 people in the room, no matter where you're watching the show, make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. Again, we're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TFT. BG25. Make sure you guys show your love as well here on the program. Is there anyone you want to give a special shout out to? Woody, you want to give a special shout out to Mama as we're doing this show?
IG, we got some people in the building that I unfortunately don't look at all the time. But Birdman Jets, holla at your boy, Ray Toy. 23, and of course one of my all-time faves. He's active on Take Flight Talk right now. Gohan Angered, kidding, but you ain't. You do the whole thing. Damn, I should have finished it. My bad. But he's saying exactly what I think Boy Green and I both have said. So we are in lockstep there, and I think we're going to talk about them soon.
Let's do it right now. So, Woody, I love playing these trivia games with you. So let's hit the music, baby. Although sometimes this doesn't work, but I always want to give it a whirl to see if sometimes maybe today's the day. Hit the music, people in the back. Beautiful. Okay. Daniel Jeremiah's top 50 big board.
This is how many? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to ask you one more time, and then we're going to talk about them here on the show to talk about, hey, the edge rush room sucks for the Jets, but there's ways to improve it. That's what the show is about. We present problems, and then we present solutions. So that's what we'll be doing here on the program. Okay, Daniel Jeremiah released his top 50 big board. How many edge rushers are on this list? Now, I will also tell you, if a linebacker is clearly an edge rusher, I count him on this list. So I separated off-ball linebackers and pass-rushing linebackers. So not to get it all super confused. So if someone's clearly a pass rusher, they count for this list. How many defensive ends / edge rushers are in Daniel Jeremiah's top 50?
So Arvell Reese is a...
Correct. I count him towards this list.
Oh, damn. Let's go with 11.
Whoa, Jesus, man. Good Lord. Rated in, Yippee. Last week, you went under, now you go over.
Yeah, because I feel like when you said the linebackers thing, now you adding all right, so then we'll go 6.
Okay. Well, like anything, the true answer is somewhere in the middle. Cut the music off, people in the back. 8 in the top 50. Now, I could have confused you with how I explained that. For instance, Sonny Styles does not count in this group. He is a purely off-ball linebacker. So some of the ones that mixed in. But here they are in order for Daniel Jeremiah. I wrote them all down. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to tell you where they sit on Daniel Jeremiah's big board, their name, and the school that they're from. These are the pass rushers that are available for the Jets. And I'm seeing a lot of potential solutions here for the Jets for this problem. Third overall on Daniel Jeremiah's big board, Arvell Reese out of Ohio State. Again, depending on who you talk to, some people see him as like a Mike linebacker. Others see him as a pure edge rusher at the next level. Depends on your interpretation. I've heard from enough draft analysts that believe he's going to be a full-time edge rusher at the next level. So third overall on the big board. Fourth overall on the big board is David Bailey out of Texas Tech. Again, Arvell Reese out of Ohio State. David Bailey out of Texas Tech. Ruben Bain Jr., Bain, darkness is your friend. Miami, sixth overall on the big board. I definitely butchered that line, but that's okay.
You did.
Let's try to quickly move forward and pretend that didn't happen. 17th overall on the big board, Cassius Howell, the Texas A&M pass rusher. We have Akeem Mesidor. I know he's a favorite. I see him in my comment section all the time of people talking about this guy. The other Miami edge rusher people don't talk about with Ruben Bain down there. You have Keldrick Falk out of Auburn. He's 27th on Daniel Jeremiah's big board. You have R. Mason Thomas out of Oklahoma. He's 35th. And finally, the last player on this list is TJ Parker out of Clemson. He is 38th on the list. There's 8 in the top 50. I asked you the same question last week, Woody. I will give you another chance to see if it changes based on position. When you have that many in a top 50, you can attack it one of two ways. The Jets have the second overall pick. Likely, that is going to be the number 1 overall pick of any of the non-quarterbacks available. So the Jets will have their chance at any of these guys if they want them. Or because of the depth, you say, I can wait till 16, or I can wait till 33 potentially to get one of these guys. So do you attack this early, or do you wait based on the depth?
You get the cream of the crop. That's probably going to be my answer every time. And it was my answer last week. I just didn't feel like wide receiver was a big enough need where I'm saying I'm getting a wide receiver early. But this is this the biggest need on the team? Like, for me, I just took a room of like 8 names and decreased it to 1. So yes, I think this is the biggest need of the team. Literally count those names. I'm decreasing it all the way to 1, maybe 2 if they re-sign Clemens. And that's where I was coming from. Was like, we're gonna need somebody. So if it's 2, I mean that means we might have to draft 2 different edge rushers, which they drafted a one late last year, but he wasn't. I guess he's still going to be on the team. You just already said Tyler Barron, yeah. So okay, so 3. All right, so the room is coming together, and it's still terrible. So Jermaine, Clemens, Barron coming on the ACL, and I would draft 2. Definitely that first pick. The first name out of whoever's mouth is announcing this pick for the New York Jets better be somebody who is generating pressure on the edge. And then, another, 4th round or 5th round, they can do that too.
Yeah, to take a line from here, you mentioned Tyler Barron. I mean, if you look at his rookie season, it was pretty barren. It was pretty lackluster. He was a healthy scratch in a lot of games. And then finally, when he got in there at the end, he blew out his leg, which sucks. So, that was a pick. So people, when you look at the draft picks, and we'll do this on a future episode of talking about, once the draft order is official, because comp picks are going to come in and things, then we're going to know exactly, here's the treasure chest of picks. Here's literally where they pick it every round. You'll notice that the Jets lost their 5th round pick because they did a swap last year at the end of the draft for their final pick, which was Tyler Barron. They moved up into the 5th and gave the Ravens back their 6th. The Ravens said, okay, we'll do that, but next year we switch the other way. And what a massive drop-off that is, because the Jets stink. So they pick at the top of rounds, the Ravens, who were borderline playoffs, pick at the end of rounds. So it's just this massive swing of pick location when you do a swap like that. So the Jets really hurt themselves with that maneuver, and the guy stinks. So in Tyler Barron, which is unfortunate. But Wudi, the draft is not the only way to solve the pass rushing need. The Jets have, at this current moment in time, based on the updated cap that we are projecting between 301 and 305 million, the Jets have 82 million in cap space. That is the 4th most in football. There's a few other moves the Jets could make to save a little bit of cash, but not many moves to make unless you restructure guys. So maybe the Jets don't decide to do that because they already have so much money. So I'm going to throw you some names, and we're going to just walk through them. You can give them a thumbs up, a thumbs down. You can say something about them. I'm going to read you some of the top pass rushing free agent options that are scheduled to hit the open market. And we'll debate some of these names, some possibilities for the Jets. They're going to have plenty of money, and that's clearly a need for the team. And I'm going to use ESPN's top 50 big board. I'll tell you their ranking of where they stand and then whether or not you want them. The number one overall free agent on their big board is none other than Trey Hendrickson. He will be 31 by the start of the 2026 season. Do you have any interest in Trey Hendrickson, who at one point the Jets passed on to sign Carl Lawson? They now have a second chance at Trey Hendrickson. He's just a little bit older now.
I can't lie. Spot Track got his value at $25 million a year. I know he led the league in sacks. Not last year, the year before that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But I really can't be paying $25 million for a depreciating asset like that. I can't do that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Again, the name's great, and I see a Gohan Engard here. Yeah, Fusion. There's so much stuff we can do with that.
Oh,
Give me energy. There's a lot to be done there. And he says Gohan Engard on the TFT channel. I still like Hendrickson. I like Hendrickson a lot. He seems like a really good leader guy, as well, from what I've heard in interviews and what players say about him. That's really cool. And if you put last year aside, he had 34 sacks in the 2 years prior combined. I mean, that's insane production. And we need somebody that opposing offensive coordinator is like, holy shit, we need to plan out for that guy. And there's not a lot of the guys, as a matter of fact, there's no one on the Jets defense they currently have to do that for. So I'd like those players added to the roster. But definitely. I just think this is going to be a contender-pretender situation. I think a legitimate contender is where Trey's going to go, and they're going to pay him really good money, and that's where he's going to go. So I think we're going to go through some other pass rushing options, which are better fits for what the Jets are looking for. I'm not saying Trey isn't good. That's not what I'm saying at all. But for your bang for your buck, I think there's going to be a better guy that fits the profile, quite frankly.
I think we're saying that Trey is too good, actually. That's what I'm saying. He's too good. He's too expensive. And, we got Trey Hendrickson at home,
Well, there you go. So, again, that's Trey, who's the number one free agent on the big board. All right, let's go a little younger here. 5th overall on ESPN's big board is Jalen Phillips. He was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles ahead of the trade deadline. He is 27 by the start of the 2026 season. He is 6'5". He's a lot of man. Do you want some Jalen Phillips action in your life?
That's a pretty good one. I wasn't tracking on Jalen Phillips, and I don't even have his spot track projection in front of me because I wasn't tracking on him.
Okay, I can pull that up real quick.
Look at you. Okay. Thank you. But I would say, based on not knowing the price,
yeah,
I would take him. I would an up and coming edge that's like not elite, right? So it's not like, because my thing with any free agent is I hope they understand that it's going to be a competition. Like they're not automatically going to be either beating Jermaine or opposite Jermaine, because obviously the expectation is to draft Reese, Bain, or Bailey, who I would imagine would take that job. So I think Phillips is somebody who will slide in as that number 3 and do some work.
Yeah, here's the contract. I love that, by the way. Shout out to Spot Track people. I love using this for articles and analysis for podcasts where they project the market value. That's a really interesting and a good tool for fans. $17.3 million per year is where they're at on Jalen Phillips.
That's pricey. That's pricey. How old you said he was? 25?
He will be, before the start of the season, he'll be 27, actually.
Right, so that's pretty pricey. I can't lie. I literally just said before, like I would be contradicting myself because I said I wasn't going to pay Will $15 million to be a third option, and now 17. Yeah, I feel like that's a little high. It's a little high.
So in other words, you're going to channel your Adam Sandler and tell Bob Barker the price is wrong, bitch. Is that where we're at there? Oof.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he would have to work out a deal, but of course, who's going to take a pay cut to play for this horrific team? So yeah, it probably wouldn't work out.
I'd be sort of
plenty of money. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at Gohan right here. He talking. He ate some sensu beans. He would pay him. I could see Phyllis and Bailey as the where's Jermaine at though? You get me nervous.
We do have plenty of money though. We do
have a lot of money. But if you are going to overpay one position, this is the position to overpay.
Sure, because I think part of the reason we don't talk about this enough. So, okay, the Jets didn't have a pick. Oh, what idiot! 17 games. How the fuck did that happen? Like, that's embarrassing. I think the secret sauce to why that we didn't not obviously solve that drought is the pass rush stunk. So quarterbacks had all day, and they're playing spring ball at 7-on-7. Pass rushers don't exist on the field for the Jets, so they're just sitting there throw. And sure, we had a handful of opportunities to intercept passes that we didn't do. But if you have a better pass rush, the quarterback's internal clock starts ticking. That gives opportunities for forced throws, bad throws, all kinds of things for corners to take advantage of. So again, to your point, if you're going to overindulge at a position, especially for, I assume, and maybe this is going to be a bad assumption, with Aaron Glenn calling plays for Brian Duker, the aggressive Lion style, they're going to need horses to run said style. So Jalen, the size and everything, I'm very intrigued by Jalen. I want to see some more of these calculated market values as we get lower. So interesting on Jalen. I'm piqued. My curiosity is piqued. Piqued. I can use that in a sentence later in the show and tell you its country of origin at a different point. Let's get another name on this list.
Can you actually say its country of origin?
I can. Yes.
Okay, nice. Look at you.
It is Uruguay. Yes.
That can't be true.
That probably is false. I sort of made that up, but I just felt like if I said it with confidence, it would have done better. But I definitely didn't say that with any confidence whatsoever. Here's a guy. Let's go to this guy. He's in the same age range. Odafe Owe of the LA Chargers. He is the 9th free agent ranked on the big board in terms of overall position. This is at 9th pass rusher. He will be 27 by the start of next season. He is an explosive pass rusher that had spent the first couple years of his career with the Ravens. He got flipped over to the Chargers and had immediate success. He had 7.5 sacks and 27 pressures in Los Angeles, and he got there in October. So the numbers, if you like extrapolate those over a full season, I mean, we're talking about video game numbers, but like he did a wonderful job. Seemingly, as soon as he went to a better scheme coach situation, he popped. Odafe Owe, any interest?
Definitely someone on the radar. He's a fantastic player. 27 is like a prime age. Like that's the age that you give someone, that Carl Lawson type deal that we gave. Spot Track says it's 19.
Richer than Jalen. Wow.
Yeah. But again, now go. He actually convinced me. Like, if you are gonna pay a position, this is the one. You just got to pay the right person, and Will McDonald's not the right person. Owe, boy, he might be the right person. He might be the right person to pay 19 mil. Have Bailey on the squad, or Bain, or Reese. Still have Jermaine, and just have them figure it out. And that's somebody in their prime that they can just look at and just be like, damn, like, this is what time we on? All right, we got to step up. Like, yeah, give me Owen boy.
Okay, I like it. I like Owe too. I think he's a super talented player. I didn't know why he didn't have more success in Baltimore. And then I just felt like sometimes you think a certain way about a draft prospect. You see him, you're like, oh, shit, I guess I was wrong. And then they go to a new situation. They immediately pop. You're like, I knew it. Damn it, I knew it. So Dafe Owe. But I'm normally quiet. Yeah, although I'm normally quiet. If I say, ooh, this guy's going to be great, and he sucks, I'm like, I didn't say that. I don't know who said that. But if I'm right, I'm like, whoa, loudest in the room. That's normally how it works.
You gotta, that is how you be operating, Boy Green. But The real ones admit their mistakes. I was wrong about something recently. Who was I wrong about? Oh, I'm not gonna lie. I was a Denzel Mims fan. And I'm not ashamed.
Whoa! Don't be putting no disrespect on my St. Louis Battlehawk superstar.
I'm not. I'm not putting disrespect. I'm telling you, I'm a fan. I was just telling you, I'm a fan.
I don't even know if he's still playing there, to be honest with you. But
he literally just got signed there or drafted or whatever whatever they be doing in there.
Oh, great! Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay, great. Shout out to him. All right, this is a name that I'm not sure if you want to put in this category. Again, this is where we sort of get mixed on defensive line interpretation, but I'll put him here because he has played some of this. What about a family reunion with John Franklin Myers? I talked to a few Denver people, including Nick Corte last week, who's an over-the-cap expert, did some comp pick stuff for the Jets, found that fascinating. He believes that JFM is walking out of the door, and that's his insights from covering the Denver Broncos. He is 11th on the big board. He is older. He will be 29 by the start of the 2026 season, and he never wanted to leave, but he said he got lowballed by Joe Douglas, and then he wasn't willing to meet certain offers, and then ultimately, obviously, got traded for a bag of Doritos. So, James Wudi, are you interested in a JFM reunion?
Only because the defensive line is so trash right now. Like like the interior, and he can do both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to give him too much. Like, he was overpaid the first time. So to say he was lowballed, he probably was just offered his actual worth after being overpaid. And now he confused because, obviously it's a huge decrease from him getting overpaid. I think the JFM hype it's a little too much, but he is a good player. That is inarguable. He's a good player, and he's versatile.
Sure.
Which is super valuable. So if he wants to come here for like less than $10 million, welcome back, man.
Do you have his thing in front of you?
No, my tab is actually acting a fool right now.
Okay, good. Well, my tabs have been acting a fool, so I've just been going to my phone because my phone has done.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I bailed. Bail. I did that very quickly on my computer tab, so I thought my phone would give us better activity. So, no, I'll pull that up for JFM because that's a fascinating part of the conversation. Again, it's a projection, so factor that in for what you will. But I always think it is interesting to sort of see what they believe the market's going to be. So we'll pull that up here for JFM. I'll just say this real quick, that I am absolutely interested in a reunion. But of course, $1 million man, everybody's got a price. By the way, real quick, I'll see Kasula Jim here jumping in saying, I'm watching
casual. That's casual.
Oh, casual. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, that makes a lot more sense now. Kasula, whatever I said. Yeah. Whoops. Casual Jim. I'm watching 30 minutes behind the live feed, but I want Clemens back.
Hey, I'm with you, Casual Jim.
Yeah, very Dave Bautista. Give me what I want. And perhaps that will be for you, Michael Clemens. Again, I like Michael Clemens a lot. He's a really misunderstood guy.
Yeah, but you said no. You said throw him out like a piece of trash. So.
Well, I think that's sorry, Casual Jim. You're about to run into when I say that, but happier times, my friend. Happier times, my friend. All right, now my phone's acting a fool, so I guess we'll check back in.
Right? Yeah, so is mine because I literally went to Switch. I was like, oh, what a great idea. I also own a phone.
Yeah, maybe it's Spot Track. Maybe it's your website. I'm not sure. Anywho, so we'll circle back to that at a different point. But anywho, JFM, interesting on the list. Let's go to another one. Again, I don't know what your dating profile's looking these days here, James Wudi. But if you don't mind a cougar, hell, I've got some answers for you, pal. What about Khalil Mack? He will be 35 by the start of the 2026 season. And, man, if you guys watch this season, he had this disgusting-looking elbow injury. And you thought, oh, Jesus, he's out for the season. It looked like he just broke his arm. And then he just put a cast on, and then he came back and finished with 5.5 sacks and 28 pressures. And I was like, what a friggin' robot. And he wore this like bionic looking robot arm. And I was like, wow, that is crazy. So you interested in a little Khalil Mack? Is age just a number for you, James Wudi?
Return of the Mac. It is. For me, I've always been a believer that old guys help young guys, even if they don't like actually try to help. Like how Flacco pretty much has never been a mentor his entire career. Yeah. Like just the osmosis of seeing how they operate helps young guys.
Sure.
AG clearly didn't believe that because he got rid of everybody over the age of 26. What do you mean?
Sorry, Thomas.
This is
Thomas Morstead out there.
I mean, everyone who was over the age of 27.
I can't lie. Yeah, that's true.
Got the act. So who knows if if we're talking about a moot point here, but the concept of an old guy, a huge fan, is Khalil Mack the old guy that we need? I would like a little bit more production. Like I feel like he's just, he's super old. Like he said, 35.
Yeah, definitely old.
He's got old balls. He got, he's sharing a team with it's a beneficial line where, and we know this from the Salah era. You create pressure. Sometimes it's just a coin flip of who's actually getting the sack? Is it JFM? Right. Is it clean? For Khalil, I'm gonna have to say he probably a little too far past to be like a key piece, because the names that we're talking about, we're expecting to be in the top 3 of the rotation, and I'm sure he's expecting to be in the top 3 of the rotation. But I'm looking for a little bit more production because, like you said, we're going to need to generate pressures if we're going to end this horrific streak that we're on.
Yeah, here's just a note to put out there for people who forget, because it was a long time ago. He's 35, but he went to college at Buffalo, so there could be a coming home New York feel there potentially. He wasn't born and raised in New York or anything, but he played for the College of Buffalo. That could be interesting. As a guy.
Sounds like a Bills situation.
Come on, dude. There's more than one New York team. All right, pal? There's more than one. And we're New York-ish. And you know what? If he wants to visit New York-ish, well, I've got a place to sell him. So Khalil Mack, I'm interested in some Khalil Mack. I think he would have had a lot more production if his arm didn't explode. So, hey, Khalil, come on down, baby. Let's get some Khalil. Let's get another. So here's one now. Now, this is what I worry about. I'm not going to lie. This is a name draft fans should remember. He was highly thought of coming out of the draft, but he was a big disappointment. And then all of a sudden, you said return of the Mac. Return of K'Lavon Chaisson is back in the equation. He's 27th on the big board here. He'll be 27 by the start of the 2026 season. You're going to see him on Super Bowl Sunday playing for the New England Patriots. And he has had a real nice career year. He's a former first-rounder. He's had this season a career best 7.5 sacks, 32 pressures. He's had 3 sacks in these playoff games, too. So he's been productive in the playoffs. He's been productive in the regular season. The thing that scares me is maybe he's found it, and now this is who K'Lavon Chaisson is, but he was invisible his entire career, and then out of nowhere, he's popped with New England. So is it a late discovery? Is it that? Is it a random blip on the radar? That's the thing a lot of people are going to have to judge as he's a free agent. So how do you feel about K'Lavon Chaisson?
Again, Spot Track playing games with us, so I can't figure price into it.
Sure.
But I feel like it's always beneficial to take, from a division rival.
Sure.
Kind of hear what Vrabel talking about over there. Vrabel, to me, he's a top 6 coach. He's always been a top 6 coach in the NFL. I don't know why Tennessee they got confused. That's one of the craziest decisions I've ever seen. And, Vrabel, now look at him, 1 year with this team of bums, and they're in the Super Bowl. So to kind of get one of his soldiers in our ranks, that's worth having. So I'm going to say yes on Jason. If he's not the guy, that guy, that he looked like as a prospect, well, that's kind of okay because, we got Bailey or Bain or Reese. But we still got his insight. We got his, intel. And as, number 3, I can see him repeating this year's performance.
And let me put a little bit more respect on the name of Caleb Von Chason. He did better with the Raiders than I thought. So, like, he was drafted in the first round of the by Jacksonville, and that went horrifically wrong. And then in 2024, not this season, that is the season before, he had 5 sacks with the Raiders, had a pick, and had some production. And this year, he's taken it to another level. So the last 2 years for Caleb Von Chason has the arrow pointing in the right direction. So I'm intrigued. But again, let's sort of see on that money, which again, we right now don't have available for projections. And to be honest, they're a guideline anyway. Everyone gets overpaid in free agency, so that's another factor. Let's get through a couple more edge rusher names here. This is one I loved in the draft coming out. And we can go over him and talk about whether or not he's worth it. Boye Mafe of the Seattle Seahawks, who also will see on Super Bowl Sunday. He will be 27 by the start of the 2026 season. And just some of the write-up here from ESPN, again, he being ranked the 30th best free agent available this offseason. Mafe is a quick first step, which allows him to attack the edges of offensive tackles. His effort level and pursuit from backside also lead to second reaction sacks. Mafe can still refine his pass rush plan, but the traits are clearly there to produce in a system that schemes favorable matchups over multiple fronts. He had 2 sacks and 33 pressures this season. Are you in on Boye Mafe?
Yeah, as you were saying that, I'm realizing that we're talking about a lot of 27-year-olds. Like there's
that's a sweet spot.
Yeah, I guess there's a class, maybe like the 2022, 2021 class.
Right. That math, whatever that is, right?
Yeah, so all those rookies are now looking for their second deal. Coming to that realization, I feel like it's great. I feel like that means that we can actually secure, and it'll cost a pennies that we have. Mm-hmm. But I think we can secure one of these guys for a second contract and have a dog, a young dog under contract, first rounder, and, have Jermaine at a similar contract to this other guy. So that's a pretty sweet deal. So you sign me up, boy.
Yeah. I know he's coming off a career low season of only 2 sacks in the regular season, which might work out great for the Jets that he's sort of going under the radar potentially production wise. But look at some of these previous seasons: 6 sacks, 9 sacks, 3 sacks as a rookie. And he was used as a situational player at that point in his career. There's some nice production there that maybe you can extrapolate in the right system. So he would be an exciting guy. So Boye Mafe, I remember him coming out of the draft. He excited me a lot. Let's go back to the veteran pool. Didn't work out great for the Buffalo Bills, but maybe for us. What about Joey Bosa, who will be 31 by the start of the 2026 season? And here's some notations from ESPN. He's the 38th ranked player in the free agent big board. Bosa's played at least 14 games over the past 2 seasons after injuries limited him to a total of 13 games between 2022 and 2023. He's averaged 36 snaps a game this past season for the Bills. He had 5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and 42 pressures. Some pretty solid production there. He was viewed as a situational pass rusher who can win with speed to power. His effort level also led to some huge production plays late in the games for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I don't know why you said it didn't work in Buffalo.
I meant from what I've been just reaching out to Bills fans about it and hearing from Bills fans, they said they were underwhelmed by the production of Joey Bosa and they were not satisfied.
Wow, that's crazy. I that's the first negative things I've heard about him. But there's no way he would come here. He's trying to play for contender. Okay. He's trying to play for teams that matter. I think that's what he was trying to do, coming to Buffalo. And I don't think we're even on the radar.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think he's going to be intrigued to potentially reunite with his brother Nick out there in San Francisco. So I think that's going to be on his radar. It was sort of on his radar last offseason, but the Bills came in with their deal. So yeah, to me, and yeah, he is a big meathead for people that are asking about Bosa. But I don't care, man. Again, you could be whatever you are off the field. If you're delivering on the field, I don't give a crap. Like
For
right,
real.
so much crap came. Miles Garrett before the draft was like, "Oh, he does poetry. What a loser!" Like he doesn't know football, and I'm like, I don't know, man. The production seems pretty crazy, and then he's been the amazing player that he is, and now he is the leading sack king in the National Football League all time and for a single season. So I think sometimes we overplay a lot of that outside stuff of like, oh, he's a meathead, he's a poetry guy, he's a this, he's a this. What does he do on the field? Yeah, that's sort of what I'm interested in. One last name for you to consider, Woody, before we put a bow on this puppy: Kwity Paye, of the former first-round draft choice of the Indianapolis Colts. He's, of course, a Michigan man as well. And guess what? He will be 27 by the start of the 2026 season. So he also coming out of that draft class. So a very talented guy. There's no question. 6'3", 265 pounds. In his career, he has registered, count this up, 30 and a half sacks. He hasn't been a double-digit sack guy, but he's been wildly consistent. 4 sacks, 6 sacks, 8.5, 8, 4, and he has 50 quarterback hits across his 5 years in the National Football League. So again, a ton of production and a ton of availability. And every season he has started at least 12 games. The last 3 seasons are 16, 15, 16. So he's been healthy and he's been productive. That's a good combination.
Definitely. I mean, that's what we need. Spot Track, got their act together. So I see 17 mil is the projection. And I would imagine for all the 27-year-olds, they're all looking in that ballpark of like 15 to 20 million. But I've been convinced having, do you want to spend money, spend it at a position that, means so much and matters so much. To have, that 3-headed dog, that Cerberus over there to, mess up QBs is huge. So give me Kwity Paye all day.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I think this is one of my favorite names we've gone over on the list, and go figure, best for last. And he was actually honorable mention. He did not make ESPN's top 50 big board here. And maybe he's going over the radar or under the radar, excuse me. And I hope so, because man, when you combine age, production, disruption, availability, which is your best ability, Kwity Paye, I think when we do that sort of off-season prediction show where signings we want to happen, I venture to guess Kwity Paye is going to be pretty high on my list.
Yes. I just seen this on your Twitter over here. Sunlight, bringing I don't know if he bringing any sunlight. Got the cloudy take right here, talking about stop drafting D with our first pick. I would say for the most part, they've drafted offense. I mean, there is the Will McDonald blunder, which, was definitely a blunder. They should have drafted JSN. And then, of course, Sauce, which was fantastic. Sure. But the thing here is that the defense was horrible. And I'm not saying that the offense was, spectacular either. But the offense, at least, there are – the offensive line you can look at and be happy with. You have, a foundational piece in Garrett Wilson. The defense has nothing, no interceptions, nobody that is worth worrying about. They have absolutely nothing at all. They got Dookie, and now they got AG calling the plays. And I could throw up AG's numbers as a play caller because they are horrific, bottom of the barrel. So they need talent. They desperately need talent. And we're gonna have to draft. I'm telling you, those first 4 picks, I need them to all be defense. The only exception to the rule is if they want a wide receiver to pair with Garrett long term. But those first 4 picks, they got to be on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I was just doing the math because, like, you think about it and you're like, geez, man, the Jets always draft defense is like is sort of the theme of what this sunlight is highlighting. But if you really look at the recent times, let's go to 2018. That's an 8-year sample size plus. Look at the Jets picks: Sam Darnold, offense. All right, Mekhi Becton, offense. Zach Wilson, offense. Elijah Vera Tucker, offense. We're already at 4. Garrett Wilson, offense. That's 5. Olu Muiwa, that's 6 first-round picks. Armand Membu, that's 7. They have 7 offensive first-round picks since 2018. Obviously, I skipped over the defensive players they're taking during that time, like Quinnen Williams and Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, etc. That's 7 first-round picks on offense since 2018. That seems pretty good. So I think sometimes the perception and what is reality are different. So again, I think you could, I will say this, because this has come up on shows before where Wudi, you said what you would prefer to happen in the draft and you'd be okay with a lot of defense. Other people want offense. Because the team is so terrible, you could just make a lot of compelling arguments for this direction or this direction. I think the offense has more to work with, to be honest. We all feel pretty good about the offensive line. You have Garrett Wilson, depending on how you feel about Brees, and then you like Mason Taylor and Jeremy Ruckert as your 1-2. Like, there's something to work with there. The defense just seems like a real disaster at a lot of different places on the team. But to me, I think you can convince me both ways. If the draft happened, you said, Paul, I have a crystal ball. They went offense all over the place. I'd be like, sweet. Paul, I have a crystal ball. They went defense. Sweet. Like, we just need a lot of crap.
Yeah, I don't know if I can agree with that because, like you said, there's more on the offensive cupboard, and also from a draft perspective, like the prospects, it's real defensive heavy. Obviously, receivers, and that's why I gave them the exception. But if they went offensive, like if the first 4 picks were offensive, I'm thinking like, what did they they draft? Like I can't even think of 4. So
I could think of 4 easily.
Okay, hit me with them.
So quarterback, that could definitely happen.
Yeah, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. Well, you waste a top 4, one of those picks on a quarterback. That means that Ty Simpson is on the team. That's disgusting. Keep going.
Wide receiver.
Okay, that's the exception.
Oh, okay. Jeremiah
Love. Well, I already told you what I said it. I've already said it 6 times in the last.
Jeremiah 3. Love. A little wiggle from Woody Lowe.
Well, I mean, if Brees is not on the team, and that
which would be the reason, right? Yeah.
And then number 4 is.
I don't think they should do this in either realm. I'll give you 2, and I don't think they should do either, but it could happen. Is you either go Kenyon Sadiq and get another tight end to pair with Mason, and you just say, we are going to fuck people up. Or you go interior player that there's a lot of guards people like. Now, I think that's aggressive. We talked about the investments that NFL teams have made at the offensive line. Jets are number 1 in the league since 2020. Yeah. So to me, I think you've invested more than enough. Hey, Jets, come here. Bring it in close. Huddle up. Find a fucking guard outside the first round, you bastards. All right? Like, geez, everyone else can find it. You find it too. But tight end guard, that would be the 4th one.
Yeah, see, that's come on now.
That's a bit of a stretch. I won't lie.
Oh my God, that's my God. How many months, years we've been doing this show? First time Boy Green's honest. Normally he just denies it and just defends it to the end. But
I got you to wiggle on Jeremiah Love, so okay, excellent. Nice.
But yeah, guys, hey, that is the edge discussion. Like I believe it was going on said earlier, we got more positions, right? I think he was mentioning safety at that time, but there's some. Obviously, we only covered 2, right? Receiver and edge, but we got way more to go. Obviously, as things come up, when the OC gets hired or whatever, different things happen. We're going to react to that. But, for rosters, yeah, we're going to talk. We're going to see who we got, who's in the draft pool, and then which free agents are going to be available. And again, with receiver, I felt like we found some names, some people, some trade targets that were worth, talking about. With edge, yeah, there's definitely those, but we got, oh my God, I cannot stress this enough. First 4 picks, we need one of those to be an edge, preferably, damn, I can't even talk, the first one.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense. The only thing I'm doing before we wrap up is I wanted to check every beat reporter to make sure there's no breaking OC news, which again, from everything we hear, could come as early as right now to tonight to tomorrow morning. We're in danger zone watch. The 3 finalists have all interviewed in person, so we are on OC watch. But we have successfully gotten this plane off the ground and landed it before breaking news. So we got our Edge show in. Excellent. And we'll see if by Thursday, do we have an OC show to do? Or are we going through another position? So we'll figure it out. But hey, you know what? Wudi, we're ready for anything. If we have to open the Kama Sutra book, we'll have every position covered. Crouching tiger. Hey, ooh, wow, ooh, bah, ooh, bam. There you go, baby. You like that? Yeah, nice.
I don't know if I do. Yeah, I cannot co-sign. Will not pick up the pen. But
fair enough. Yeah.
But we are going to cover the different rooms of the locker room, the team. So
yes.
Stay tuned with us. Stay tuned with us and learn.
All right. Quick plugs, guys, on the way out, by the way. Let's do this real quick here on the show again. TFT. Up, hit it up right there. Come on, Woody. Let's give a full plug.
Yes, absolutely. Raw takes, honest takes. We admit when we're wrong. We, point out when we right. But a lot of times we write about something that's negative, so we don't like to talk about it. But we out here doing our thing, of course, always giving you the real, giving you the facts, and our flagship show, Abby, who's been covering the Jets for 10 years, Michael, who is an active college running back, so he sees the X's and O's in ways that not many of us see. And then, of course, this show, the best Jets-related show in all of content creation, because you got your Kool-Aid and you got your real. It's a perfect blend of all things New York Jets.
That is one way to put it. So, folks, no matter where you're watching, whether you're watching live or after the fact, the best way to support is if you're watching on YouTube, even if you prefer Twitter or Facebook or the Gram. We're hip. We know about those grams, okay? We know what you're talking about. But still, it will help us grow our YouTube channels. It'll help my brother from another mother here reach some monetization levels so he can invest even more into the TFT channel. So, guys, make sure you hit subscribe. 500 subscribers, breaking the fourth wall. For those who don't know, is that first monetization level. So help my guy Wudi get there, baby. And I'm trying to make a chase to 10,000 subscribers. We're climbing more and more every gosh darn day. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Wudi, we'll have to get a Super Bowl pick from you later in the week, and we'll do that with our other show coming up on Thursday.
Real quick.
Oh, sure.
Like
breaking news? Oh,
no.
Get ready. Let's go. What is it? What do we got? Oh, I missed. Let me do it one more time. Here we go.
Yeah, I don't always check Instagram. Somebody actually just joined right now. But Chubbs Bear said we need a trade for Mac Jones, so I can't leave the air without delivering a swift and firm. Hell no, we should not do none of that. Okay. Forget about Mac Jones. Leave him there in San Fran. He doing all that Shanahan voodoo. Keep him there. Because when he comes to the New York Jets, he will play like Mac Jones, and that's not what we need. So,
earlier you sung "Return of the Mac." I thought that's where we're going back to, but it was Khalil Mack, not Mac Jones. I guess
it was.
All right. Well. All right, folks. Well, I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time, which very much looking forward to. And again, one more plug, everybody, in case you missed it, we had a brand new Boy Green Coffee Club member, so shout out to Julio Julio Kelly joined the Boy Green Coffee Club earlier today, so you, my friend, have access to this wonderful Lindsey Rhodes interview I recorded earlier today. Again, this will go to the general public tomorrow morning around 10 a.m. But if you're a Boy Green Coffee Club member or a Boy Green Espresso Club member, that's part of your perk package is you get early access to interviews and videos, and that includes here with the wonderful, outstanding Lindsey Rhodes. So make sure you guys check out that full interview in the video section on YouTube. So, Wudi, that was a lot of fun, brother. And I'm looking forward to doing it again on Thursday.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody have a great day. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the engagement. And don't forget to like, subscribe.
All right, everybody. Peace out. We'll see you. God bless.